got to get turned up. Last little Vegas Eve, Summer League Eve.
It's supposed to be the night before Vegas.
Summer League.
The DNVR house. What is up, everybody? Welcome to the DNVR Nuggets Podcast.
Let's go.
Oh my gosh, I'm telling you, we're feeling it. We are feeling it here, presented by Bet365. Everybody go download Bet365. We're going to Vegas. The Nuggets are going to Vegas. You can bring Vegas right to your pocket with Bet365. We have a great show for you today. Why? Because shortly after Assistant General Manager Tommy Balchetis and VP of Basketball Operations Ben Tenzer left our very set, they signed the Denver Nuggets second-round picks to these long contracts. A little bit of a surprise, perhaps, but there's some angles to take on that. We also want to talk about Peyton Watson. How much of this season is dependent on Peyton Watson? How much? I think maybe a sneaky big amount. We'll talk about that as well. We're going to snake draft Vegas things. We're going to talk about Dame. To do that, I got the fellas, man. Brendan Vogt.
Yeah. Why show ankle when you can show full leg? You know what I mean?
You might be showing a little more
Why
than
wear
that.
anything?
Do you want the answer to that?
Look at those legs, baby. You see those legs when we come back next week? Significantly darker.
Yeah.
Significantly darker.
Peeling
probably
and
just-
pink.
Probably just sunburn.
Probably one of them missing.
Also possible.
Also possible. Over here, though, look who's back, everybody! Look who's back!
Let's go, dude. I'm so back, you guys.
Oh my God!
So back.
You are physically back.
You're physically back.
That's literally all I meant. Yeah.
Yes, not
Yeah, you-
spiritually at all.
No. My spirit is so far away.
So
It's
back.
disgusting.
Oh my God! And then, of course, the smart one, Harrison Wind.
I don't know if you guys have been on the rumor mill today.
Oh, really?
On Twitter or Threads, whatever you're on.
Dang it, I hate the world.
The Suns might be signing Bobo.
Oh crap! Oh,
We can
crap.
save that for segment 4, though.
Yeah, we'll save that for segment 5
God,
today.
please let them sign Bobo.
We're gonna get to that in
Boble's
segment
actually
5.
in my Vegas-themed fantasy draft.
Oh,
But-
man.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
We
That's
had an
awesome.
epic interaction with Bull in Vegas once.
Yeah,
Epic.
out on the streets.
Epic, man.
Out on the streets.
We'll tell that sometime.
Yeah, maybe we won't. But first, our top story. Eric, you're back.
Guys, I'm back. I've been to the motherland, my motherland, our motherland, and I went to the Derby.
How was that, man?
I went to Red Star versus Partizan
My
in the
gosh.
biggest match, I think, ever. It was...
If people don't know, Red Star, for our American audience, Red Star and Partizan, two teams both in Belgrade.
Yes.
And it's like North and South Korea. You have to pick a side, and that's
Yes.
who you are.
Yeah. They wouldn't even allow Red Star fans in. The
Really?
arena. It was in Stark Arena again,
Yeah.
like we
But
went to
that
before.
whole thing was
Our
just
home.
Partizan? You wouldn't let any Red Star
Yes.
in?
No Red Star.
Wow.
No Red Star. Red Star's bench was covered by a physical barrier inside at a basketball game. I will say, like,
Can you imagine the Lakers in a cage?
I mean, I'm going to put together a little. I took a bunch of video clips. I put one online of just people lighting up flares in the
Hell yeah.
in the crowd. I mean, people absolutely losing their mind. This was for the championship. This was a very big game.
This was the Adriatic League Championship. Is it always them? Is it just always those two teams?
I don't have a lot of information on
Okay,
this other
yeah.
than I was there. It was all Partizan. They lost their goddamn minds. They won. Apparently, the home team always wins this, and I saw why. Like,
You know how they
Is it
say
because you're not allowed to bring other fans? into
You're
the
not-
building?
and-
statistically they say the Utah Jazz have the best whistle at home.
Yeah.
And they say that their theory is that the fans there, because they sit on top of you, that it's intimidating.
Yes.
So this home team always wins.
I
Checks out.
definitely buy into that theory.
Oh,
with
yeah.
The Derby.
100%. So
Or the refs just might be scared
Yeah.
for their actual
That-
lives.
that's
well,
a
the
great
crazy thing,
point,
like,
too.
so you see these images of everybody in making these like chants in rhythm, and the whole crowd. It's just like it feels so intimidating. But to be in there, it's just cool.
Yeah.
It was like when we went to the Red Star
Yeah, yeah.
football match. It was like it wasn't
cool.
It wasn't intimidating.
Not at
it was
all.
like cool as hell. And I was like, I mean, we could. If we just like got our heads together and came up with we don't know what to chant in unison. We don't have unison chants. We can make this happen. I've been to a Rapids game, and there's the fan or the supporter section sings the whole time.
Right, yeah.
Like we could make this happen for ourselves if we wanted to.
Well, it's a other part of the world thing.
It is every part, but this part.
Exactly.
Also,
Yeah.
have you noticed that the broader Balkan culture much more into flares than we are?
Dude, super into flares.
And not just angry. Like Vlaco, did you see he was celebrating his
With a
hometown
flare.
and he
Yeah.
just lit a flare?
It's just like the default celebration,
Yeah.
just with a flare.
So it was
A flare's
incredible.
like a giant sparkler.
Oh, it totally.
Yeah.
It looks like flame.
Imagine
It's not.
the
It's not actually flame. But I got to see the marquee matchup of Dante Exum of Partizan taking on
Formerly
Facu Campazzo
Now
of Red Star.
The Mavericks?
Yeah,
I think Mavericks. Yeah.
yeah, it was awesome.
That was awesome.
It was so cool.
That was the highlight, huh?
I mean, that was the highlight that this show cares about.
Okay.
Unless you want me to talk about my romantic dealings.
Okay, well, I guess you're right. We can. We can move on. What an experience for Eric. We all went to to Serbia, and he keeps going back. Very jealous.
Well, I mean, their flights are available. You know what I mean? Like, I bought the ticket.
Okay, well, that's the part I'm leaving out. Guys, I don't know if you checked the news, but the Denver Nuggets, they did sign their 2 second-round picks. They signed both of them to long-term deals. For Jalen Pickett, it's a 3-year deal. For Hunter Tyson, it's a 4-year deal, really a 3-year with a team option in that 4th year. This is a commitment. We have seen guys come through, even first-round picks, Tyler Lydon, that didn't last 3 years. They did not last 3 years. We've never seen these guys play, and yet the Nuggets have signed them. Harrison, what is the main story? Like, what's the headline to this signing?
A heat check from Calvin Booth. That was my first
That simple?
reaction. No, there's a lot more to it, but that's, I think, the top story.
Okay.
Calvin Booth. We had Tommy Balchettis, the assistant GM of the Nuggets, on the show yesterday. He said, Calvin Booth is the best talent evaluator that he's ever been around. We've heard that same sentiment from a lot of different scouts, a lot of different people in the league. Seems like he might have hit on both draft picks last year, and he just knows what he likes, and he's confident in his choices.
Yep.
Yeah,
And
that's
he
one way to
takes
put
the
it.
guys he wants to take, and he clearly believes in all 3 of these rookies. Obviously, Julian Strawther took him in the 1st round. Definitely
Fame.
these 2 guys he took in the 2nd round. And so I just think it's an immense vote of confidence from Calvin Booth and the Nuggets in these guys that they truly believe that they're going to be legit players. Both those 2nd-round guys.
Is there D-line, like, Cal's 1 for 1, in my opinion, because
with,
everything
with a
else.
title.
Well, with a title, yes. But I mean, forget that part. I meant the draft.
Sure,
He's
sure.
1 for 1. He drafted Christian Brown, and we can say Christian Brown's a good player. We don't know about Peyton Watson. We don't know about Kamagate. We don't know about any of these 3. So fans that are freaking out about this, do they have a leg to stand on?
I mean, to me, this is a lot about Calvin feeling comfortable and confident in his draft, but also how valuable your draft picks are now with the new collective bargaining. Like, you want to get low rookie scale deals in place that are, very friendly to the team, because it becomes more and more punitive. We're hearing about how it's going to be more and more impossible to have like these super teams being put together because of all of the restrictions. So it makes sense. Like, if he believes in them and he signs them, it doesn't mean that they're handcuffed to them forever. It's just the cheapest they'll ever be at this exact moment in time. Like,
I mean, this exact moment in time, they'll be the same price here in a couple weeks, no?
well, I mean, you mean you want to see them in summer league?
I'm just saying that this is the part where I think people sit and go like, man, already we're committing to this already. And as much as you are right, because I want to get to the 2nd-round pick specifically part of this, because I think that's the real story. But there's this other thing of, 2nd-round picks are really valuable. You know what else is valuable? Guys that can play. And I just don't.
Well, there's a third I think this is where your takes converge, first of all, in that, yes, the 2nd-round pick exception, we'll get to that stuff. It's an intentional strategy in filling out a roster that's so starter heavy with the new CBA. Also, it is the case that Calvin is, like, you could say every GM backs their picks. This is evidence of what we're trying to get at. Calvin really believes in his picks. Also, a third layer. We talked about how we would love Jeff Green coming back if the rotation changed. We all love the DeAndre Jordan signing because we don't think he's going to play. Michael Malone, championship-winning head coach Michael Malone, loves to play his vets. There's something to maybe it's okay. Hunter Tyson is willing to sit on the bench for 2 years and also not going to get in the way of Peyton Watson, right? Christian Brown, even Vlatko, Zeke. And there is a little bit of, there are vets that are play now. Do they get in the way of the grander scheme? And Tommy talked on this show yesterday about, they are comfortable with getting younger. So this is them putting literally their money where their mouth is in that regard.
And the last leg of it is, of course, that maybe because I think these are all parts of this. Like all of this is being calculated. The last part is, does it make it more tradable down the line? I don't expect that. I could be wrong. Is Hunter Tyson's value going to be higher in December or January or February? Probably not, just because I doubt he plays NBA minutes. So even if he goes down to the G League, we're talking about marginally better or worse. You know what I mean? Like, it's not going to be that much. But nonetheless, maybe you do get to a situation where it's like, hey, we need some contracts. We need some tradable players. And these guys are now under contract and got them, and we can go there with it. So I do think that is a part of it. And I do think the idea of, it's the fact that you have multiple years. It's almost a signal of, this is our team for the coming years. Like there'll be little changes here, but don't expect we're changing. And I don't know if it's even a message to Michael Malone or just an organizational, maybe Michael Malone's part of this. So it's like, no, we're committing to a continuity group that is likely going to feature most of these guys, not for 1 year, but for at least 2 and 3 years. So I think it's a little bit of all of these things.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, you've got the starting 5 locked in. Now you just build up the pipeline. And to go back to Vogt's point, I thought it was great because Tommy pretty much said yesterday that, yes, we are very comfortable relying on our younger guys off the bench. And that was the big question for the Nuggets coming out of free agency. Like, who's playing off the bench? Are they really going to – is Peyton Watson really going to be like the 8th or 9th man? Sounds like he is.
Yeah.
And it sounds like they're confident he could fill that role. And then it's just about, filling in with guys behind him. And I mean, I'm excited because now they have two-way roster spots open, so I can get excited about dudes at Summer League.
I was going to say,
so wait for that.
That's the last layer. We keep saying the last layer. That's another great point. And the chat pointed it out too, so shout out to whoever that was. But more flexibility here with the two ways. And as Win just said, we can nerd out during Summer League a little bit more too about who's going to get those spots, who wins that audition.
I mean, the question for the Nuggets is like, do you want Hunter Tyson as your 15th guy, or do you want another Justin Holiday?
Right.
I think the Nuggets look at it as, like, we know what Justin Holiday is. Like, that could be okay, but it could be just another Davon Reed situation where, he's playing the beginning of the year and then it's clear he doesn't need to be playing, and by the end of the year, he's not even on the team.
Right.
A team. Why don't we just go with the bigger upside option right off the bat?
I think if you want to be the optimist on this one, you look at it and say, are the Nuggets going to be in a bad spot by the trade deadline if these guys are all bad? And I think the answer is no. They might not be in the best. They might not be the 1 seed. They might not be the 2. You know what, Eric? They might be the 4 or 5 seed. It might be really a disaster. But I just don't see, barring a major injury, the bench and end of bench guys making a difference between the Nuggets being in or out of the playoffs.
There's no chance. The bench was terrible last year.
That's true.
The bench was an absolute deficit.
Disaster.
All we did was watch the starters build up a lead and then the bench chip it away, and you're like,
almost every night.
Every night. Like, can they be worse? No, I don't believe that they can be worse. I believe that they can be similar and probably better in a lot of ways.
Well, that's the thing. We said it yesterday, but this is the framing I'm locked in on. These groups, however bad they may be, they have headroom. Jeff Green wasn't going to miraculously get better at this stage in his career, but the younger guys with a longer rope could improve. And again, like, not trying to, stir up drama or anything, but this could be, we've framed these things like Torrey Craig out, MPJ in the starting lineup.
Right.
The front office might be saying, like, look, man, we're past the stopgap vet thing. The future of the roster building with the way our cap sheet is has to look this way. Let's find out which of the younger to young guys can really ball.
Right. And I just think that if you do get into a situation where, say, a Peyton Watson, a Zeke Naji, but then also all of these guys are all kind of weighing the team down, and it's like, man, are we going to punt this year because these guys are clearly not ready? I do think you can adjust at that point with those guys. Like, there's that's where, again, you're probably not going to get the great vet, but you can find a Justin Holiday or even the A version of that by trading some of these pieces,
get
at that point.
Jeff Green.
You could probably sign Davon Reed. I think he's available.
Yeah, there you go.
I mean,
truthfully,
so there are options out there. Nonetheless, I also agree that it is important to say this does feel an awful lot like a Calvin Boot heat check. And one thing I've told people is I don't want people to take this and contrast it to the previous regime or to any other ones. But this front office really does seem to have an enormous amount of faith and respect in Calvin's eye for talent. I mean, it's not just a, hey, man, like, we're doing the company line. They go above and beyond to be like, this guy really sees talent, man, and like this or that. And so You take that with the fact that the team is committed to guys that we haven't seen yet.
Sure, exactly.
And it does feel really, if you are a skeptic of these moves, I think you're fair to be that. Even though the Nuggets just won a title, you should probably allow for some grace. Yeah. But I understand when you just say, do you believe in it or not? You can say, I don't believe in it. Maybe they're smarter than me, but I don't believe in it. Yeah. I think it's fair just because it is such an unconventional, it feels.
But how could you possibly plant your flag saying this is the wrong move when none of us have seen them play a full game?
Because that's part of what's fun about sports is it's like
well,
you take a side. And
well, sure, but I mean, if people are feeling passionate, that they know for sure how could you possibly know? Like we haven't seen anything. All we hear are reports that everything is looking great, and maybe it is, maybe it's not. I mean, I'm very, very curious to see these guys play in summer league. However, little or much you can get out of that. Sometimes somebody looks amazing, doesn't translate at all, but like I want to see them dribble a basketball. That'd be cool. One of them. Hunter, I don't care. One of them.
Jalen Pickett. I did a video on him. You should check it out. You'll really like it.
You've missed a lot over the last week and a half.
Actually, I got to catch you up on something.
Yeah, that's an inside joke, by the way. You're supposed to laugh.
There's this guy that the Nuggets drafted.
A new favorite player.
I have heard.
He's pretty good. There's this guy.
Have you heard of Jokic?
He's like way better than you.
No, I mean, I've been following along. I've not actually done any eye testing myself, so I'm. I gotta see it before I play my flag.
League, do you think the eye test decision is it going to be you're going to give 2 games?
Oh, like
or is it going to be 1 quarter and you're going to be like I'm out on this
just
guy.
A couple minutes.
Oh, like when I said that last year, Colin Gillespie is the next coming of Chris Paul.
Like that. Still might be, man.
Dude, honestly, what is his contract status?
He's a 2-way, which is kind of funny.
That is crazy.
Jalen Pickett just jumped him.
He did just jump him in the stand in the
the
picking order.
The Booth boys are on fire, baby. Yeah, I don't know. I'm interested to see it, but I just want to see these guys play basketball. You can tell. You can tell when guys are at least they separate them.
It's easier to separate the bad. It's easier to separate that.
So, Christian couldn't buy a shot, but he still just moved
he
different than the pack.
He was so much more confident, and he was clearly the guy.
Flying up and down the court.
Tommy Bracelets predicts 6 block shots from in one game from Peyton Watson.
I'll take it. Absolutely.
So if we get
Tommy Bracelets, also a confident guy.
Also confident, man. The front office feeling themselves. Oh, man, winning a championship sounds so dope.
Oh, man.
I feel like nobody can touch you. Let's take a break. On the other side, speaking of Summer League and standouts, Peyton Watson, man, the more I think about it, the more I'm like, this is the year where Peyton Watson is like the fulcrum. He's the pivot point between so many different ways the Nugget season can go.
I'm so glad he's my guy.
So glad he's your guy as well. We'll talk about him on the other side.
He's my guy.
We had to have quorum. Everyone had to be here before you select a guy. Anyway, off you go.
It was selected in the Slack.
I love this. You missed it.
You were in.
Had one eye on these things, man. You missed a couple things here.
Unbelievable.
He took PWAT. We need a draft of our guys.
Yes, we do.
The start of this year, we're going to do a draft. I get first pick. I'm taking Jokic.
I'll take Pickett.
I
win the draft.
Take Pickett number 2.
And I've got.
You son of a.
And then I'll trade him to you.
And I've got Murray.
Kind Love is an official partner of DNVR. They were one of the first dispensaries in Colorado. They were established in 2010. They're known for cultivating some of the highest quality cannabis in the state. They got the best stuff at Kind Love. They have the Turbo joint, which is 0.7 grams of whole bud combined with 0.3 grams of Turbo Keef. It's ridiculously potent and burns significantly smoother than other infused pre-rolls on the market.
I smoked one of those recently.
I love how Harrison says Keef. I don't know what it is.
Keef for sure.
And there's something about when you're like, and 100% Turbo Keef every time. It just makes me smile every time. I don't even know what Keef is.
Keef it? No, it's like the
Keef it real.
When you grind
I
the little
get it.
stuff that falls at the end, it's like highly potent.
No, Keef is different.
I've been heard.
Whatever.
No, I think Adam's right. Visit one of the Kind Love stores in Cherry Creek or North Denver. Mention DNVR. Receive the DNVR exclusive discount of 25% off all Kind Love flower pre-rolls and their Turbo joint line with Keef. Visit their website at kindlove.com for their full extensive menu and online ordering. Also, check out Illegal Pete's. They have the longest happy hour around 3 to 8 p.m. every single day at all 12 Illegal Pete's locations.
At what point is happy hour just not quite covering?
Bro, it's just happy over there.
Yeah.
Happy Pete's, dude.
Yeah. This episode of the DNVR Nuggets Podcast brought to you by Illegal Pete's. It's your go-to spot this summer. The longest happy hour around 3 to 8 p.m. every single day at all 12 Illegal Pete's locations. Enjoy a few extra margs on the patio. At their happy hour price, there's no better way to kick off your summer. Wear your Nuggets gear into any Illegal Pete's location. Grab a house marg or draft beer for free with the purchase of an adult entree.
There you go.
No kids entrees, Eric.
Adult entree.
Can't do it.
Can't do it. No drinks.
Everybody, welcome back. Segment 2, DNVR Nuggets Podcast. Do us a favor. Smash that like button for us
dude.
here, guys. Smash
With
that like
malice.
button.
But like only once. If you do it twice,
Yeah, then unlikes it. Yeah, just do it one time. It always helps us grow the show. And if you're, of course, not subscribed to us on YouTube or not subscribed to us as a podcast on Apple Podcasts, wherever you get it, go ahead and do that as well. Guys, I'm not going to lie, you guys know this. I've talked myself into the Nuggets roster this year, the longer it's gone on. Not that I was ever talked out of it, but I'm just saying the more I sit and think about it, the more I actually get excited because one, you want your team, especially in the long regular season, you want them to be interesting. You want them to be good, but you want them to be interesting. And I think the Nuggets are going to be very interesting. But the more I think about it, the more I think they're going to just be really, really good.
I think so too.
Really good. But every time you think of all the possibilities, there is one piece that is sort of a keystone piece to all this, in my opinion, and that is Peyton Watson. Because behind him is Justin Holiday. There's not really another player of that mold that you say, like, okay, I mean, maybe Julian Strother or these guys. But that seems too far-fetched to say that those guys jump in and be the sixth man or seventh man. Peyton Watson, to me, represents the Nuggets' repeat championship hopes. As currently constructed, because they need a seventh man, and we just haven't seen him play very much. Let me give you some numbers here. Last year, Christian Brown.
Hot take on the surface, just so you know.
You think it is?
I would say so.
Oh well,
But take me through the case.
Go through this real quick before I get to the case. Why does it feel like a hot take?
Oh, it would still to frame it as if the repeat hopes are contingent upon his success. I would think is too much.
Yeah.
I would say the 1 seed and the easiest path to a repeat.
It's semantics. You're right. I'm just trying to talk here. You're right. I'm not saying they can't win without him doing this
All
or
right,
that.
I'm just trying to
saying that I
feel
think,
it out.
Well, here's what I'm saying. He needs to be the 7th or 8th best player on this team, because if it's not him, I don't know who it is.
Sure.
I think there's
I
a
follow.
gap there of guys, and they don't need him to be spectacular, but they do need to have 8 guys that they can roll into the playoffs with, and I don't think they have that unless he's one of them.
I mean, what about the Vlaco erasure here? Like, I swear to God, this guy looks great when he's given an opportunity. As soon as he's taken away and he loses continuity, his confidence falters. I think, I mean, obviously, like losing Jeff Green and losing Bruce Brown, you're like, oh man, that's rough.
Yeah, but one of them's rougher than the other, right?
Yeah, Christian Brown slides in pretty seamlessly for Bruce Brown.
No, he slots in for Christian Brown. Christian Brown was also in the top 8 last year, so he doesn't slot in.
I just mean like his defensive versatility, the way that what Bruce Brown brought. Like, and then you look at a guy like Peyton Watson, like you feel like the two of them can give you the same production that Jeff and Bruce.
But if Peyton doesn't, because I'm with you. Here's where I'm getting at with this. I think one of Zeke or Vlaco or both replace Jeff Green. And if I were to, honestly, if I had to bet on one, I'd be like, I think they might be a regular season improvement on Jeff Green. That's not just me. Because I'm low on Jeff Green and I'm high on those guys. But that's the replacement there. So we're really still talking about the Bruce replacement. You need a guy. So you have a Jeff replacement. Christian does what he does, but at a little bit better level. But you need the next guy. And to me, I look around and I go, I don't think it's Reggie. I don't think it's going to be Strother or any of these other guys. It's really, to me, only him that to me could be that guy. That's what I'm getting at. I'm kind of counting the other chickens as already hatched, and there's one that I'm like, I don't know. And if it's not him, who is it? They kind of disagree with this, which is fine. Where do you lie on it?
I'm probably more with them because, like, was Christian Brown the reason they won the championship last year? No, and he was the 7th man.
You don't think? I mean, look, they went 16-4. They were a great team,
and Christian Brown played a smaller role than he did in the
consider the
playoffs
source
and
too.
in the regular season.
It's coming from wind.
But if they didn't have Christian Brown, though, who would it have been that played?
I don't know, but they still might have won the championship. They still probably would have
this last year.
They still probably would have without Christian Brown. I look at Peyton Watson next year how I looked at Christian Brown last year. Like, that is how I anticipate Peyton Watson's season going.
Totally.
He works himself into the rotation. He starts the year there, which Christian actually didn't. And then his playing time and his role kind of expand as the year goes on. And eventually it's like, oh yeah, this is one of the top 8 guys for the playoffs. That's how I envision Peyton Watson's season going.
I still think, for me personally, I don't think there's a guy that I feel that great about being in the top 8. I mean, look, I'm a Pickett guy. I hope he's a playoff player. But again, I'm more likely that Peyton is a playoff player than Pickett for me. But
I like that point. Like, I think that's an appropriate way to look at the roster right now. Like, I think in that margin specifically, I'm less confident than I was just knowing Bruce was there.
Right.
I'm with you.
And Peyton, to me, represents defensive versatility, whereas a guy like Pickett represents a really good floor general, but his role is he's the one. He's not really versatile there. Peyton can be a guy that gives you a defender for Kawhi Leonard, gives you a defender for Damian Lillard. Like, there's a wide variety of players in theory, like Bruce, that a lot of problems he could solve. Now, here's where I want to get with this. Christian Brown last year was the 7th man. He played 1,181 minutes. We'll round up, call it 1,200. Jeff Green played 1,091 minutes. We'll call it 1,100. So 11 to 1,200 was the minute total for 7th and 8th guys. The year before, Bones Highland, 1,310 minutes, 7th man. Facu, 1,184, 12 and 13.
Good
so
Lord.
I think we could say 1,100 to 1,300 minutes is how many minutes that role plays on average, okay? And if you go back before that, it was Paul Millsap, same number. Last year, Peyton Watson played 186 minutes, almost all of that in the final 2 weeks of the season. He played 223 in the G League, so we combine that and we say he played right at 400 minutes, 399 minutes. The year before that at UCLA, he played 405 minutes. In the last 2 years, he played roughly half the minutes we would expect him to play next season to be a 7th and 8th man. That's just one thing where I'm like, that's a big question mark.
Totally.
He just hasn't played for 2 seasons.
This is why I feel like we're not looking at Zeke and Vlatko enough. I really think their role coming into the season is going to be a lot bigger than we are. I mean, just because we're in the rookie, the summer league part of the NBA calendar, that's all we're thinking about.
Shiny new objects and stuff.
Yeah, man. But like, those are 2 solid players that have not been that have had guys in front of them that have taken minutes away that we were actually crying for them to get for long periods. Like, I would love for Vlatko Čančar to get a real shot this season because I believe that he has what it takes to be a 7th guy, an 8th guy. Like, he can absolutely give you what Jeff Green gave you. Absolutely. So can Zeke. I mean,
do you think both of them play?
I hope so. I mean, my thing is, like, I believe very, like, Wind and I are going to arm wrestle over who's the PWAT guy. Like, I believe very strongly in PWAT. Like, watching him down the stretch of the regular season, granted, like, those games didn't mean much to either side. Like, teams were tanking, whatever. He had so much energy. He had so much bounce. He had so much, like, so much to inject into the Nuggets lineup that wasn't coming from anywhere else. He has things that are just like, and it wasn't just that he is athletic, but he was also like super disciplined, and he would come from the weak side and get blocks, and like just had like a preternatural sense of for defending the ball.
I think his defense is pretty close to, I don't want to call it a lock, but
it's a lock.
It's
an
close.
absolute lock.
It's close to. I mean, it's minus 500 that he's going to be good. He's good enough defensively.
And I think that he can then, on the bench, he can play dunker role. He can like do what Aaron Gordon does. He doesn't have to make outside shots, but he can if called upon. We've seen, like, it's not the best part of his game. He has a little bit of it, but like he can dunk the hell out of the ball. He can be super athletic.
So Peyton Watson, let's say it's just the Jamal stagger, just the one.
Stagger.
Christian Brown's playing. PWAT at the 3.
Okay, yeah, that's his best role. He's his best suited to be a long 3.
Can it not just be Vlatko, Zeke, and all 3 of these guys play? The wall with the minutes is interesting. Maybe a little more context behind the Holiday signing too. Not a guy that's plan A or expecting to be plan A, but if you need to play in January or whatever, you can. So there's something to that as well, I think. But all 3 of those guys playing, I would be into. I'd be into that. Also, I want to say real quick, because it's in the chat, I believe this theory that I have about Vlatko and Zeke's injury.
You believe your theory?
I do. I really no, but I'm into this take. I like my own take. Everyone is worried about their injury history, and I would argue they stand a better chance if they actually play the whole season.
Yeah, I think there's some. I think that it's common for guys to get injured when they play 0 minutes for 2 months and then a ton of minutes.
And now more than ever, because you're not practicing, and we've seen these get ready games against the coaches. And no offense to the coaching staff, but it's hardly rigorous. And then it's
I love when I hear the athletes be like, I've been going hard in these workouts. I'm like, I see the workouts. Charles Clask. You're smoking Charles Clask in a one-on-one. Like, all right.
And then you're out
Michael Malone broke his ankles.
And then they're out there against like a small ball lineup. It's like, can you switch 1 through 5? And you're like, I mean, I haven't moved in a month. But I'll see.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
So I'm interested to see if maybe they stand a better chance in a consistent rotation.
But nonetheless, it is a concern, right?
That's
I mean,
also
yeah.
true. Yeah. Fair.
Let's talk about Peyton Watson, though, what he needs to do. So, all right, first of all, he has to be low mistake because we know the biggest thing about young players is they make a lot of mistakes. And Michael Malone, that's the one thing he doesn't want. Get out of here. You're making mistakes. Get out of here. Defensively, it's not about how good are you and you make plays. It's did you screw up at a rotation? Because we've seen Christian Brown makes plays.
Yep.
But when he messes up one exchange, Malone's like, get out of the game. So, number one, low mistakes, which, again, one of the reasons this minutes thing is so important. Mistakes are about experience more than they are about anything else. You can't practice not making mistakes.
Yeah.
Mistakes are things you just need reps on. He needs to be a versatile defender. I just think he needs to guard multiple types. And I think this is the part that why you buy into him is because I think we just all are like, he's going to be able to guard Paul George.
We saw him do it, man.
And Devin Booker.
Yes.
So he's got to demonstrate that. And then here's a fun one. I think he needs minutes closing the game. Last year, Christian Brown closed games
Don't
just
worry,
randomly.
dude. Don't worry.
What?
If Malone can close someone over Mike in February, he's going to get some chances.
But here's the thing. Christian Brown, I think, is going to be the guy that gets that a lot. To
Yeah,
your point, he
that's
is
a
the
good
Bruce
point.
Brown, so he's the default. But even last year, Bruce was the default, and Christian still got times when it was like, hey, he's playing well, give him an extra run. Peyton needs to be good enough that the Nugget and then circumstances arise that you do that because closing minutes are the closest thing you get to playoff minutes, and he just needs those reps in volume, not like a ton, but he just needs. I hope at the end of the year we can point to 10 games where he played 5 minutes in the fourth quarter, five or more minutes in the fourth quarter, just along something happened. I think he needs to. We need to know, can he shoot?
Yeah.
Like what kind of shooter is he, and is there a spot for him? Does he play well off of someone? I think this is another question. Like offensively, there's just some guys that are like, hey, he's good with this guy, not with that guy, and you kind of learn of him. He needs to find somebody. Can he create is a big one. This is the one when you talk about playing the dunker, I disagree because I don't think he's that. That's a finisher, and I'm not sure if he's a finisher.
You don't think he's a finisher?
I don't know if I'm saying I think he's a creator more than he's a finisher.
Really?
And even when you hear him talk about at Summer League, today we interviewed him at Summer League. Those videos should be up on our YouTube channel. He talked about as a creator, he's like, when I draw a lot of attention. I need to make the right play. So to me, they're not like the starters that have a 4 that space. I think Zeke and or Vlatko are spacers and cutters or slashers. But I think Peyton is more of a slasher, driver, and hit the guys. And then the biggest one for me is, does he do stuff? Why did Christian Brown play last year? He just did things.
Yeah.
Rebound. Like, you could look at a stat sheet and you'd be like, oh, he had 7 rebounds tonight. Oh, he had 3 steals. Oh, he had 8 deflections. Peyton Watson, to me, more than any other skill set, is like, you just need to look at the box score every time he plays and be like, wow, he just did a little bit of everything.
I love that, yeah.
And I'm really confident he's going to do a lot of everything just based on his close to the season. I mean, if you look at some of those games against the Suns,
Looked great.
when he played 2 blocks, a couple steals,
Oh, dude, we made some-
deflections. He was everywhere. He was making a Christian Brown type impact.
Yeah, when we were ahead of the Sharps, we were like, they hadn't raised the block total for Peyton Watson. It was like 1. We were like,
Oh, yeah.
hammer that.
Actually, you know what? That might be the market inefficiency. Remember the start of the year, Michael Porter's threes
Yes.
were like 1.5,
Yes.
and we're like, what are they
No,
doing?
it's the full market
That
inefficiency.
is going to be the first 2 weeks of the season. We're hammering Peyton Watson blocks.
Yeah.
0.5 minus 200, and we're like, boom, let's go.
When it comes to his offense, I think we always talk about Peyton Watson's defense, but his offense is interesting because, I watched him in a scrimmage at practice yesterday. Really like the first time I've watched him play since last year. And he had like 3 or 4 just drives to the basket where he just beat his man, took advantage of an opening, and finished. Like some nice finishes too. Yeah. I'm pretty confident in him as a finisher at the rim, just with how long he is.
Yeah. He's huge on the court. Like, how it just looks different in
He's
game.
massive, man. He had this finish. Katie Wingy tweeted out a video of it yesterday. This like side arm
Cockback.
flick. It's like I've never seen anything like it. It was crazy. He's so long. So I'm confident in him being able to get his own offense in ways that like Christian Brown wasn't able to because Peyton's just so much longer.
Yep.
It's going to help him out just like getting to the rim and creating stuff for himself.
Dude, he's going to be a monster in Summer League. Peyton Watson is going to
He should
destroy the
dominate.
Summer League. Yes.
I just to balance this a little bit, I'm not sold on the shot.
I think the offense in general. All I keep saying is like Christian and
agree
Peyton
on
are going to
that.
be so good defensively.
They're gonna-
I just think that's such a dynamic 2-3. Like you're going to cover the perimeter with that bench unit if those
Right.
two are out there. But the question, and maybe that's enough. You
Yeah.
generate transition, and that's the identity. It might work. I don't know if that's a playoff identity because it's harder to get those transition buckets. But we'll worry about that next year. But I do wonder what is the identity offense and what can either one of those guys do? Because at the moment they're both finishers.
Well, I mean, you pair him
Or
with
both like they don't have creation. I should say self-creation for their shot.
Yeah, you pair him with unorthodox point guard in Jalen Pickett. Plays like Jokic.
Oh man, now you're
But
talking
he
about
plays.
Hold on a second.
According to who?
Hold on a second.
But no, truthfully, like the other
he
thing
would
that
love those guys.
The other thing that I think is so unbelievably impressive about Peyton Watson is his composure. Like he is the way he speaks, the way he just is so deeply confident. I mean, it means something. Like PJ composure,
When he's trying to take him from you, don't let him.
PWAT composure. Is this your take?
no.
No, but this is the same take we had about PJ Dozier.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, and it meant something.
You know
He-
what's funny?
if he
Those
were
guys
not
kind of have a similar. You're
I'm
right.
s-
There's
but,
a similar.
I'm telling you, like this.
I'm with Wind.
I'm telling you, no, there is something to watching guys in high pressure situations and watching how they react. And it could just honestly be talking to the media or just anything that could be a stressful situation. And he is, to this point, he's so like above his years. And we saw him at the end of last season in the same way defensively, which wasn't biting on head fakes, was extremely composed on the court. Like, it's just like whether or not your heart beats fast in moments and whether or not you can control it or whether you are controlled by it. And he's not. He's like able to step up in those big moments. And he has all the physical tools. So like, you tell me why he's not going to be a success. Calvin Booth, you're the man. Heat check.
All right, how nervous will you be if he has a unimpressive summer league?
If he explores his game.
It's just terrible. It's just turnovers and like
I mean, I'll be very honestly like
he needs to. For you, he needs to have.
He's
a
a
good one.
second-year guy. I mean, who
needs to
played?
dominate.
He didn't play a lot of. Like he played enough in the G League last year to be considered a second-year guy coming into summer league. Like he should dominate.
He absolutely should. I will be very disappointed and surprised if he's not.
Yeah, me too.
Because it's, as Wynn says, in summer league, there's always like Cam Thomas, who's the second guy in the
That's
league.
such a summer league guy.
But it's like he's an NBA guy, but he's on the summer league squad. He's like, all right, I'm scoring 70.
You know what
Yeah.
also though about him is, you know what what his game is? Zero pass, zero structure, pull up shooting.
Yep.
And it's
Yeah.
like, what do you
The
get to do in
ultimate
summer
summer
league? Like, I don't need an offense. Buckets.
Hardy too. Hardy was like a
Oh,
summer
dude, the
league.
same guys basically.
Yeah.
All right, let's take a break on the other side. We'll talk a little bit about Zeke. We might get to Dame. We'll find out how much Vogt wants to cook.
What's going on with that?
Are you scared of the grind over there?
Yeah, you're scared. I'd be scared of the Vogt's grind.
All right, now I'm ready to go.
Bet365, guys. Bet365, it's your go-to for sports betting. It's our go-to. Bet365, they pioneered live in-game betting, and they offer the widest range of games and markets available for live in-game betting. What I need you to do is download the Bet365 app, use code DNVR365 at sign-up. I did this last night. You deposit $10, then you just make a bet of at least $1. Once that $1 bet goes final, you instantly get $200
I
of
can do
free
that.
bets.
Let's go.
In your account. That's what I have in my account right now. $200 of bonus bets immediately. Bet365, they got lines up for Summer League. You can bet that when the Nuggets tip off. They also have these boosts of the day. The Bet365 boosts or Bet365 Super Boosts were based on where you're located in Denver or somewhere else. There's geographic centric boosts, so you can get in on those as well. Turn $1 into $200 of bonus bets when you join Bet365. Download the app, deposit $10, and claim your $200 in bonus bets as soon as you place a bet for $1. Download the Bet365 app. Use code DNVR365 when you sign up. Must be 21 plus and physically located in Colorado. Please gamble responsibly. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call or text 1-800-GAMBLER. Also, guys, I want to tell you about Ibotta.
Oh,
Ibotta. It's a really cool app that gives you cash back on things that you already buy, like groceries, online purchases, and more. It's stuff you're already buying in your daily life. All you have to do is upload the receipts to Ibotta, and you get cash back. The average Ibotta user earns $120 a year in real cash back. That's just an extra $100+ in your pocket for just uploading receipts to the app. You can earn cash back on hundreds of online brands and retailers when you start with Ibotta, including Lowe's, Macy's, Sephora, Best Buy as well. Of course, Ibotta sponsored the DNVR Spotlight, RG's incredible latest spotlight from the Nuggets' first championship. So right now, Ibotta is offering our listeners $5 for free just for trying it. So download the app, use code DNVR when you register. Let's go to the App Store or Google Play. Download the Ibotta app. Use code DNVR, IBOTTA in the Google Play or App Store. Use code DNVR, get free $5, and then start saving more money. Get more money back after that.
All right, there we go.
Denver's own Ibotta.
Denver's own?
They started here. I know like 8 people that have worked there.
Really?
That's right.
There you go. Awesome. Now, everybody should be all in now. Let's get to segment 3 here. So I think Peyton Watson is the fun and exciting piece. Like, us talking about it, it's just so interesting. That's why I say with PWAT, I'm just so interested in PWAT.
Yes.
Zeke Najee to me is a little bit more of like, we all like it, but he's been around. He's not the shiny new object. I kind of feel like this is a year, again.
Yes.
Zeke
The deck
Najee is
clear.
now one of the most experienced guys off the second unit. Honestly, we don't think that DeAndre Jordan's going to play, and you don't know about Justin Holiday. He's probably going to be behind there. Who's more experienced than Zeke now on that second unit? So for me, do you feel uncomfortable? I'll start with you on this side, Vogt. Do you feel uncomfortable with the idea that that they
In life?
that Zeke
In this shirt?
Do you feel like Zeke is another one of these inflection points for the team that they kind of need him to be good?
Yeah, it's gone from wait your turn to we need you. And
It's your turn, baby.
There's that. I think there's no doubt that that's the case. Also, that's evidenced by the roster. I mean, all due respect to NBA champion DeAndre Jordan, what's the other option here? So they really need Zeke to play well. We also have seen it. I mean, the all defense unit last year, switchable, featuring Zeke and Vlatko and Christian. There was substance there. I don't know how good it was, but it wasn't the disaster some of the other looks were. So again, I don't think Zeke is a shiny piece for any team, but that doesn't mean he can't fill out a rotation. With a full season, can this guy get better? Can he get better defensively, get better at rebounding? I hope the shot looks a little better this year too, because that goes from like a little joke we make on this show to something that matters now.
Honestly, how much would we have liked his season last year more? I mean, I know we got hurt and that's frustrating, but how much would we have liked it more if he just his shot went in like it did the first 2 years? We might be talking about him like, what
Great
a star.
season.
Yeah,
Yeah,
come from
yeah.
Conger.
He just had moments, man. He had a lot of like good moments last year. He had,
Defensively in particular.
yeah, like there were moments where you're like, okay, cool, that's a backup 5 right there. And then of course he got hurt, like, and then it just like reset the clock back to 0. But you know, there's not the default veteran that you can assume will just like take his minutes if he's out for any amount of time. Like, you got to think like the deck is now cleared for them, or both of these guys, Vlatko and Zeke, and it's like your time is now. Like, you are the vets, and Michael Malone likes vets, so
That's a good point.
go do it. Like,
I'm concerned about the shot, though. I mean, he didn't look comfortable at all shooting the 3 last year, which is crazy because he shot 46% from 3 his second season in the league. You know, last year, not a lot of attempts, but 26%. And it just didn't look in rhythm. It didn't look like he was comfortable with it all season. He changed his shot heading into last season. I mean, that's a tough thing to do. Maybe with a full summer, it can get smoother. He can get more comfortable with it. He can improve on it. But, I mean, the shot just did not look good last year. Like, the way he was shooting the ball, it just didn't look good.
Literally did not look good.
I know.
It did look like he's in between changing shots, and he has like half of it.
Yeah.
But that,
You know what I mean?
but that
Like-
was the case all year.
I know. That's
And
why
again-
I'm a little scared.
and
of
It
again-
looked bad. And so I just like, maybe the full summer helps, but based on last year, I don't have a lot of confidence that he's going to be able to shoot it that well. And that kind of takes out a whole aspect of Zeke Naji.
Can he be good without it?
He can be the player he was last year, and last year he was fine. So, yeah, he can be serviceable.
But it's a little like less sexy, and maybe he's not one of the top 8.
I mean, a 40% three-point shooter, that changes the entire look of Zeke Naji.
It's an insane... There's an argument out there somewhere where you could follow the logic of why he did that, but it's crazy. It was the thing he did at the highest level, and they tinkered with it over an offseason. And, like, not to belabor the point, but if it ain't broke, don't fix it. This is like a highlight example of that dynamic.
Yeah. I just think a lot hinges, an interesting amount hinges on him. We'll do this really quickly, just because I want to feed you. I don't know if you guys saw it. So Vogt for the last there's several Bragendas.
Yeah.
There's a lot of them out there. The top Bragenda is clearly that Jason Tatum sucks and is overrated. And that how does that Bragenda going so far? How's that been?
I'm eating good.
You're stuffed.
I've been full. I've had a good year.
I've come to realize, by the way, the Bragenda broken down into 2 categories. Love or hate?
Yeah, the hate, though, there's a lot in the hate category. The love one, we'll go to the love one. Michael Porter Jr., pretty decent year.
I'd say great year. You know?
So how's that Bragenda going?
That Bragenda has a ring on it.
Okay.
I mean, it was a tough last round for the Bragenda, but whatever. He got the job done.
They got the job done. And then there's the third, I would say this is probably the third Bragenda, which is that Dame's loyalty shtick has been like expired for years, and you're so over it.
Not only is the loyalty thing boring, like 7 years ago, Dame changing teams, honestly, in my mind, huge story. 2023, wake me up when it's over.
There's a little bit of a like Bradley Beal changing teams wasn't that big of a story. It's kind of like whatever.
You're like, oh, now you do? Okay, man.
And Bradley Beal and Dame might actually be just like more or less similar here. And one guy's a loser and one guy's like considered the ultimate winner, right? So that being said, I have to go here because I like Dame. I've just always enjoyed him. I buy in a little bit to his like leadership stuff. I think he like seems great. I do think it's a little overstated a little bit. Like he's branded himself pretty well there.
Sure.
But I will say, I think I'm joining the Bragenda.
Yeah. Oh, it feels good.
Because not only has he signed a 5-year extension and then 1 year into it demanded a trade.
1 year in.
Not only that, but he's demanded that he only go to the Miami Heat. Remember what he said? Like, I don't want to go to a team too good. Then he picked the runner-up. And was like, that's how
much they were the 8 seed.
I actually think he picked the perfect team.
I think it perfectly fits in his weird qualifier.
But also weird.
But it doesn't feel like branding. This is the point. Is it all feels like this? Like he's like, I'm going to the scrub team that was
Damian
barely
Lillard
in the
wants a
plan.
trade request, but not quite yet. But maybe, but not to a team that's too good. But don't send him to Houston.
Yeah,
and actually,
exactly.
by the way, it's Miami.
And then on top of that, just the idea of signing a deal and then forcing your way to one team to me is like, I'm out. I'm on the Bragenda.
Yeah,
this is
it's
BS.
bullshit.
What are we doing in the NBA? How is this the defining trait of the Adam Silver era? That it's like players not only demand trades, which in and of itself was horrible, but they force themselves to a singular place so that teams can get almost no value back for them. To me, I'm with you. I hope Dame winds up in like Detroit.
Yeah, me too. Absolutely.
Well, Adam, what are all the other free agents going to think of Portland?
They might stop flooding to Portland in free agency.
Yeah,
That's
no
they might
way.
never
They're
be
all
able
going to
to
go
give
to Portland now.
They won't be able to give Jeremy Grant $250 million.
Don't worry. Jeremy Grant definitely demanding a trade in like October.
Yeah. No, I don't. Listen, I mean,
Right?
Sooner.
I mean, that deal by then will be 2 months old.
the first layer of the player empowerment thing, I'm all for. Get yours. But it's also like the loyalty thing. You know, Portland gave Dame a lot of money, and Dame had a lot of chances to win in Portland. And one of the reasons Portland never won is the defense. And one of the reasons their defense wasn't very good is because Dame didn't play very good defense. So I don't know, man. Like, there's Anthony Davis in New Orleans, as annoying as that was because it was the Lakers. I'm also like, yeah, I don't know if I would trust New Orleans to help me either. And there's just something, it's a little, I didn't love that.
First of all, Portland, it's wild that Dame is winning this war because that is not winning it more with me because Portland, I do think, has like kind of sucked.
No. Now I think this is, and after drafting Scoot, there's a crossroads and a threshold that's been crossed. My whole point is like, the whole thing is poor Dame, and it's a marketing thing because other guys we might just go, hey, like here's why they didn't win that series. They weren't good enough.
Right. And there's been a lot of those, man.
Right.
There's been a lot of those. Somebody
pointed
pointed out that in that Game 7 against Denver that they won, he was 3 of 17.
Yeah, it was McCollum.
Yeah.
3 of 17 in the game 7
Yeah,
against a
I
bunch
remember.
of puppies.
And his legendary playoff performance against Denver was in a loss. Now, I don't think Dame is
And
a
also
bad,
was like 25 free throws or something.
and I don't think he's a bad player. And by the way, with where he's at now, I would also demand a trade. But I'm just saying 7 years later of the boy who cried wolf, but also not wolf, but I'm not afraid of wolves. And like, don't please respect me. Please respect me.
And also, isn't it ironic that the place he wants to go is South Beach? It's always weird that they always want to go. Like, all these players want to go to the same place. To your point about player empowerment, it's funny because the idea behind it was, well, players can screw us, and they'll treat us like assets the moment. And it's like, all right, how do we fix that? It's like, no, we don't need to fix it. We just need to screw them back. It's like, okay, now we just have like doubled our problem rather than solved one. We've created two where this is. So I don't know.
Dude, it is the this is the cake and eat it too situation.
Yeah,
Like,
this is
you
the
don't
cake
get
and
to
eat it too.
decide. You don't get to label yourself the loyalty guy, and then end your tenure by forcing your way out and absolutely putting your team in a terrible position. This is exactly what Melo did.
Right.
But if
I only wanna go to
Miami
New
is
York.
smart, if Miami is smart, if Portland is smart, they'll do what mercifully we had Masai Ujiri overseeing for the Denver Nuggets, who just was like, I'm not going to budge until you give me a good haul for what I want these players, and if I'm not getting that, you're not getting Dame, and that's it. Unfortunately, what it did is it ruined the season. It was an absolutely, it was a mess.
All it cost was our love and joy for watching the Denver
and then all it
Nuggets.
did was just open up the conversation of like why Denver's not good enough for Melo.
Right.
Why poor Dame? Like Portland's not good enough for Dame. And like if I'm a Portland fan right now, I'm like, bro, this is for you to be the guy, the banner waver of people switch teams too much. You guys aren't about loyalty. You punks are scared of the grind. Blah blah blah. And like then now this guy asks for a trade. Like I'm like, man, fuck that.
The NBA, the
And
ecosystem of the
that
NBA
guy-
is so poisoned. The only thing I will say is I do think that I fully support him wanting out of Portland because I do think Portland has like not picked themselves up from their fall. And so I think it's the demanding to go to a certain
That's
place.
it.
When you
That's
say
it.
like have your cake and eat it too, to me that's the having your cake and eat it
Yes.
too. You signed a 5-year extension. I understand why you did that. You deserve the money, but when you get the money, you don't get to also say,
That's it.
sign me to all this money and trade me for 10 cents on the dollar. Like that's the part where I go, come on, man. That's that part you can't do. Sign a shorter deal. Like
Yes,
but
dude.
there's risk in that. But to me, there's just no way of being able to say the only way you solve this issue of like one side will screw you over is it's like you sign a long-term deal, you just go and you want to trade, you go wherever they find value for you.
Of course.
Tip your hat to him too, because he nailed the branding thing. He really did.
Well-
and by the way, I don't think Dame is like a bad player or a bad dude. Like
No,
there's
he's a
a
great
lot.
player.
One of the best.
Yeah,
dudes.
I'm
He's an
absolutely
incredible
doing the
player.
shtick. Like I'm wearing sunglasses right now, but there's something to. It's just I have noticed how a lot of other players in Dame's situation, we would be trying to figure out why he couldn't get over the hump, and for Dame, it very quickly became this like, well, it's pretty sick that he doesn't want to leave, and I mean, a masterclass in branding, but after a while, it did start to annoy me for sure.
All right, let's take one last break. On the other side, guys, we're going to double snake draft.
What?
We're going to do Vegas things, but
Like a
also
two-headed snake?
No, we also have to.
A two-tailed
We all
snake?
have to stand. Our guys, we have to pick who we're standing
Oh,
at
God.
Summer League here.
No.
The stakes have
man.
never been higher.
Stakes have never been higher.
snake
So
drafts?
Google your.
In one segment?
This is a snake eating its own snake draft.
God.
So let's find your rosters.
Oh my god.
Google Nuggets Summer League roster.
By the way, thanks Jabari for enlightening us on the point we missed. All right,
Volo
sorry, go ahead.
Sports, the largest sports
some dork.
social sports company in the U.S. We've played in a bunch of Volo Sports leagues. We played in a bowling league, kickball league. It's awesome. I mean, it's a great activity, great way to meet people, great thing to do on just a random Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday night. They got leagues throughout the city. Volo does in Lodo, Rhino, Uptown, City Park, the Highlands, Sloan's Lake, Cherry Creek, DU, Englewood, Arvada, Aurora, Northfield. So wherever you're located, there's a Volo league for you. You can hit that QR code right there on the screen. You can go to volosports.com/Denver as well to sign up for their Volo Pass. But they still have summer registration going on until July 13th. So you can get in on all these summer leagues before July 13th. You can also get the Volo Pass and pop in as a free agent. DNVR 10 for $10 off at volosports.com/Denver. Also check out Pins and Aces, the official golf apparel partner at DNVR. Pins and Aces has just awesome gear. Polos, hats, golf bags, the beer sleeve, the liquor stick. They got everything at Pins and Aces. We all have Pins and Aces gear. If you're golfing in Colorado, like Pins and Aces, it's a requirement.
It is.
It's the official golf apparel partner of DNVR in all city. Check them out. They got polos, hats, golf bags, everything else. Pinsandaces.com. Use the code DNVR. Get 15% off your first order plus free shipping. That's at pinsandaces.com.
Alrighty. Time to snake draft. Our first.
Wait, which are we going to snake draft? Snake drafts?
No, we're going
Which snake draft comes first?
That's the last ever podcast episode.
We're going to
This one,
snake
hopefully.
draft to start. We got to figure out who we're standing. Who are our guys?
Oh, God.
I haven't picked a guy yet, you guys. I don't have a guy.
You don't have a guy.
I don't have a guy. Oh, did he put me last on purpose? You son of a... I can't believe you can. You
There's a different order for the next draft.
Oh, cool, man. I'll be able to get the Vegas things. All right, so I get the last pick. We're all picking guys. This includes the deep bench.
Oh.
This includes the deep
so
bench.
three of the guys have been awarded a contract.
Yeah.
Fourth pick.
Fourth pick.
Pretty
All right,
pivotal.
Who are you taking? You get the number one pick here.
Grant Golden, just kidding. Peyton Watson.
God damn.
Peyton Watson.
Son of a
Yeah,
biscuit.
I love that you guys were fighting over who it was, and he drafted
And it was
number
really
one.
just up to
Kale's
Kale.
put the perfect board together. He really did to make all the controversy. PWAT, you're a PWATsman.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's the objective top
dude,
pick
I
on
mean,
the
come on.
board.
Yeah, you don't actually
We
have
don't
to
need to
explain
dive
it.
into it.
Eric, the board's all yours.
So, I mean, the obvious pick would be to take Jalen Pickett just to put you in hell. But I'm not going to do it. I'm not that way. I'm not punitive.
No, you have
I
your
will
own
take
takes.
with the second overall pick in the Summer League, our guys draft. Jalen Pickett.
Oh, man. What a call.
Jalen Pickett, who had his first meal after signing his new contract and agreeing to it at the DNVR
The
Bar.
whole Summer League team came here last night.
Squad
Wings at the
was here.
DNVR
The
Bar.
whole Summer League squad came here last night.
They're tall.
But I was going to say my pick was going to be Colin Gillespie. Actually, I'm very interested to see what Colin Gillespie looks
You
like.
should have gone with yourself.
Go
It
with
actually
him.
tells
I
you too much
wanted
about
to.
yourself.
I wanted to ruin your
Yeah.
your
My
time.
sadness
Yes.
is more important than your
Yeah.
happiness. To
I'm
you.
looking to win the snake draft, not win the snake draft.
All right, Wind. What do you got?
I'll take Julian Strother.
That is your guy. That's actually you got your guy perfectly.
He's not my guy.
He is your
Peyton
guy.
Watson's my guy. I mean, Strother's going to be fun at Summer League. Like,
actually-
he's just going to bomb threes. So
Yeah. I mean, I didn't even watch it. I have like such remorse on my pick, and even though it's probably the right pick, I just did it just to make. Anyway, go ahead.
All right, I'm taking Colin Gillespie.
son of a bitch.
I got Steady Gillespie.
Steady Gillespie.
Listen how sad your voice is.
No,
when you
I
say-
like it because you know what? I'm in what you now call a win-win.
Are you?
Yeah, either my guy or my guy wins. You know, like I can't lose right now. I'll have a graphic proof of exactly what I wanted here. Back-to-back picks here. Wow. I'm gonna go with. Man, this is a really shocking pick for you guys. You guys are gonna be surprised by this one. I'm going with
Okay.
Grant Golden.
Whoa!
that's a bust.
I'm going with, no, wait, man. This is Summer League stand.
This is a bust.
Dude, we're in the golden
By the
era.
way, who we did? We're in the golden era, baby.
Tell me that's not going to work out.
When so we actually talked to him today at Denver Nuggets practice. He really had some great stuff to. I mean, that dude loves Jokic.
Yeah.
and he had some great stuff to say about molding his game after Jokic. Grant Golden, my guy,
Oh,
triple double.
Harrison has a.
Okay, I will take the starting center, Ismail Kamagate,
Whoa!
my
Here-
guy.
Already slotted to go back to Europe. No hope for actually making the
But
Denver Nuggets.
this is called getting in early on a guy.
Oh,
So when he comes over in a year or two, he's already
I'll tell you how to get
reserved
in
as
the
my guy.
fantasy.
I'll tell you how to get in early. Is you take a 4-year professional for the Denver Nuggets. You take Hunter Tyson.
Hunter Tyson.
He's already under contract. I'm getting the aftershock of the heat check by Colin Booth, dude. I'm feeling it.
This is a chance that this
Dude,
is.
look at my
Look
team.
at your
dude.
board. You got the second round.
By the way,
Two guys that you've just never watched a minute of film on.
I've never
right,
been
baby.
more jealous of a snake draft.
I
than
have
somebody
to-
else's snake draft.
bold choice to go 3 rounds on this, by the way.
Hey, that's what makes it fun, though.
You gotta dip deep into the roster.
Yeah, that's
All
what
right.
makes it great.
Well, I'm going to take Cassius Stanley, who has impressed in these scrimmages and also is an athlete, and athletes are fun. Dunk contest participant, so I'm in.
Alrighty, I like it.
All right, well, you're not done.
You're not done. You have another one.
Oh,
Where
boy.
else you
Remember,
going?
remember snake drafts?
Yeah.
I can't wait. I can't wait till you have to BS one
Oh,
of these.
you know
guys
what
here.
I'm doing. Andrew Funk.
Ah, son of a bitch!
Ah, the Funk is
We
back.
want the funk.
Funk is Jalen Pickett's teammate. The guy can shoot. He's not going to play very much.
I know. It's a perfect third round pick.
But you know what? He's definitely that last game where nobody plays but
That's
the
it.
and the guys, and he has like 9 threes, and everybody's like,
and
he
then
should-
gets drafted to the Korean League.
yeah. Well, come on. I like Funk.
Oh, there's 2 guys that have double A's in their first name.
Yeah, I hate that actually. It's very confusing.
I think I gotta go Taz Sherman.
No, he's not going to
He's
play.
not-
So
I don't care. Listen,
He's
he's
the one
my
guy that
goddamn
hasn't
guy.
arrived yet. So
yeah, he was sick the other night.
he has not arrived with the team.
I
You
mean,
don't
we're
believe
not
in a
down
guy
to guys that
You don't
aren't
believe in a
playing.
guy that has likely nicknamed himself Taz?
That's so true. All right, so he takes Taz Sherman. What are you going here, Win? Who are you going to leave me with? Don't leave the best pick on the board.
I mean, there's a clear pick on the board.
I think there's 2.
I'm
Actually,
going to
there's 3.
take Amir Sims.
There you go. Tell him about
my
it.
guy, Ismail Kamagate's teammate from last year, who also
Double
went
A
to
on
college with Hunter Tyson at Clemson.
Double connection from this guy.
Shit.
He looks just like Darrell Arthur.
That's the real reason.
He has the same body as Darrell Arthur and kind of
6'8".
plays like him too.
I honest to God, when they were scrimmaging the other day, because I didn't pay that close of attention, I
Yeah.
honestly thought it was Darrell Arthur.
He's
I
a
almost
clone,
tweeted it
man.
out. I was like, Darrell Arthur working out with the guys or something, and it wasn't him. That's how much he looks like him.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah. He's a physical player. Allegedly, he shut down Wembanyama in a game last year.
What?
Yeah. Like the only guy to guard him well was this guy Amir Sims.
That's what Tommy Bracelets was saying on this here program.
Yeah. Allegedly.
Man, I don't know if Mark Smith or Amon Franklin.
I was
is
going
my
to go
guy.
Mark Smith because it sounded like one of Harrison's Fairview High School teammates.
I'm going to go Armand Franklin.
Okay.
And I don't really have anything to say about him.
All right,
He's my
good
guy.
stuff.
He's my guy.
You could have taken Mark Smith, the
I know, but
taller.
I think Armand Franklin might play. I don't know. I don't remember.
Double A on Armand.
He's
as
a
well.
taller Marcus Howard.
But it's the second A that's
Can I
double.
take John Beckett?
Yes.
All right, you know what? Take it off. Take
Oh,
it off. I'm taking
don't worry
John
about it.
This is illegal.
0 A's.
This is
John
illegal.
Beckett.
Wow.
John Beckett, Coach JD.
All right, I'm going to take the coach from Serbia.
yeah. Marco Dadic.
Marco.
All right, there you go. Print it. Let's go to our second snake
Wow.
draft. We have a second
I
one,
need
guys.
a water.
We need a second snake draft. And what are we doing? This one's a little
Need a
more
break.
fun. Vegas things.
Oh, man.
Tough
Vegas
transition.
things. Let's see,
Oh,
what is
boy.
our order for this one?
Ah,
we're-
Gosh, Cal, come on, man.
We're going long for a fantasy draft.
We really are.
all
How
right.
did Eric get number 1 pick? Come
I've been
on.
gone, bro. Everyone
That's
else
why
has
you were on
laid
vacation.
claim to. I'm back though. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like you
I
got to
do
welcome
know.
me back. What better way to do it? The number 1 pick, the top Vegas things, late night with the fellas.
Does that count? Like,
Yes.
That's way too
Wait.
That's
broad.
the broad.
Hang on. I was just going to take. I
You
was going
hang
to take
out
the
late.
fellas. I was going to take the
You
fellas.
hang out late. You go from
Hanging out. Is that
give him
what
the
you got?
fellas. Give him the
late night,
fellas.
a late night with the fellas.
What?
That's a terrible
That
pick.
doesn't count. I'm making a commission
Wait,
decision.
just say the
Late
fellas.
night- Just no. Just
No, but it's late night with the. You have during the day pool.
All right, should we say no curfew?
What are you,
I love
7
all
years
the
old?
fellas times.
How about every pick has to end with the fellas?
This is late
Yeah.
night.
Late nights with the fellas.
I mean,
Gosh, this doesn't
That's a
make
terrible
sense.
pick.
Yeah, because that's a Vegas specific
How is that a
thing.
terrible pick? That's the best thing there is to do in Vegas. Hang out with your fellas
I
late
agree
into
with
the
that.
night.
I agree with that.
All
Actually.
right, well,
All right. Well, I can't take the fellas anymore, so I'm just gonna say Golden Gate with the fellas.
that's a specific pick.
Golden
Bro,
Gate
Golden Gate,
with
the
the
world's
fellas.
best dive bar casino. I love it. Golden Gate with the fellas. Oh, I can't wait for Golden Gate with
I
the
can't
fellas.
wait for Golden
Oh, I can't wait.
Oh, my-
Mentally, I
can't-
am there.
The biggest shock of the year to me is that I'm ready for Vegas. I just did not think I was.
I
gonna be
am
ready.
not ready
Speak
for
for
Vegas.
yourself.
I gotta be real.
All right, you guys know me. I love a big meal. I'm going buffet.
Buffet with the fellas?
Going buffet with the fellas. I'm going buffet. Gonna get that Caesar's buffet. It's like
Oh,
$100, but you get like all the
You know what
crab legs you want.
I feel like I want this to be a thing. Like when you go into a buffet, you need to have a theme that you're sticking to. Like you
delicious
want,
food.
Yeah, but like you have to be prepared to defend that theme to anyone who questions it. Like, how do you have a scoop of ice cream on top of a lobster
Oh,
tail?
I see what you're saying. Yeah, people that do like
Well, only
tacos and
animals do
lasagna
that.
and then a steak, and you're like, come on, man, this isn't a
Yeah,
theme.
you need to have a theme
No.
that you are willing to defend.
Mine is just steaks. You just
Yeah,
go
yeah.
and you get prime rib, and I get like 4.
Yeah, dude.
servings
I'm
worth
like,
of-
wait, what is your theme? You're like, you're like meat. I'm like, all right.
That's it. Yeah, that's
Good
the meat,
job.
the meat one. All right, what are we going, Wind?
Basketball with the fellas.
Yeah.
Summer league with the fellas.
Wait, watching basketball?
Yeah, getting
Summer
hyped
league-
about
summer-
Nuggets players with the fellas.
All right, there you go. Basketball with the fellas. I like it. Although I'm going to bring this up on Sunday when you're sick of terrible basketball. I'm like, no, Wind, you wanted to go watch.
You got to go watch your
You want
guy.
There's 8 more hours of this. Let's go watch it, man. It's number 1 on your board. All right, what else?
No,
How are we having this hard of a time with Vegas?
Well,
don't
first of
know.
all, we did not prep for this at all.
Yeah. Let's go.
Gambling's still on the board.
gambling's still available.
I thought Vogt,
like
Vogt took
blackjack,
that.
craps.
Vogt
Yeah.
took that.
What did he
No.
say? He said Golden Gate,
Golden
which
Gate.
is like great. Yeah.
Blackjack with the fellas.
There you go.
Blackjack with the fellas.
That's a
There
good
you
answer.
go. I love it. Blackjack with the fellas.
All right, Adam, it's you.
Oh, I am up. Dang it. You took gambling?
Well, I mean, he just took blackjack.
I'll go this. Free drinks
Yeah,
with the
free
fellas.
free drinks with the fellas.
Free drinks with
This,
the fellas.
this is all under my Golden Gate umbrella.
It really
It's
is.
actually true.
But
We broke
I
it into
grant it.
multiple pieces.
I grant it. All right. This one should be popular with both of our niche audiences. Pool time with the fellas.
Pool time with the fellas.
Full time. Hell yeah, dude.
Full time.
Hell yeah. Full time. I'm sad we're not going to have the fun boy this year.
Yeah,
We
it'll have
could
to be
bring it
Vogt.
to
Vogt will have to be
circus.
somebody. My pick is one of your friends believes that a service industry professional actually likes them. One of your friends convinces themselves, either a waitress or
A stripper.
or anybody
A dealer.
actually likes them.
They asked
Yeah,
me
with the
for
fellas.
my number. They asked me for my number.
That's what they do, Vogt. That's what they do. Yeah.
Yes.
That's actually the game plan.
Listen, Dahlia, if you're a Nuggets fan, I don't think that's her real name.
My last pick is
My favorite moments on the show ever.
one of my last pick is high-end meals peppered in with Taco Bell and things that cost $1. You oscillate in between high-end meals and
so
things
true.
that cost under $1.
Vegas is the ultimate mixture of high and low end.
Yeah.
High and low class
Yeah.
mixed together in
Yes.
one shit sandwich. It's pretty great.
Redacted with the fellas. Just kidding. Okay, let's see. Airport beers with the fellas.
We have an early flight, man.
What's that?
Early flight.
This is going to be
never stopped me
horrifying.
It's 7 a.m. for Serbia.
That's
Wow.
true. Vogt had a beer ready at 7 a.m. That's true.
Yeah,
No,
he was on
we had
Serbian time
him
already.
in
In
Istanbul.
Istanbul, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
That beer was good,
notorious
too.
day drinking Istanbul.
That airport, Istanbul airport.
God, is there anything else I
Crazy.
like about Vegas?
No, nobody likes
Oh,
anything.
wait.
I know
People
it's short
watching.
list.
Yeah, people watching with the fellas.
People watching at the fellas because at this
With
time,
the fellas.
all the NBA players, bowl, they're
Yeah.
all around everywhere. You're just walking everywhere.
Yes.
There's famous athletes.
Go watch some film, Bull.
Oh, inside joke we'll never share. All right,
Good stuff.
I
like my board. What do you got, Win?
The sphere with the fellas.
Wondering where Vogt is with the fellas.
Yeah, MIA friend with the fellas.
Is Vogt alive with the fellas?
So his phone's dead. The battery's dead. We have no. Yeah, we
I
have
can't
contacting
wait.
him.
We leave tomorrow.
We leave tomorrow.
Let's go, dude.
Oh my god, guys! Unless you can't tell, you can go big screen here. We'll put these out and let you guys vote on them. I'm excited, man. We had a good long run. We took a little break. We took a little tiny mini break.
I got to tell you, you guys brought this up while I was gone, and nothing has been truer in my life. Is that I cannot believe how condensed the NBA calendar is. If you
It's
are
my
the
biggest
champion,
thing right now, man.
If you were, I remember waiting for summer league with. I mean,
It takes
think
so
about
long.
think about how long ago we played the Minnesota Timberwolves. It was a lifetime ago.
No,
and if
when
you're
the Nuggets were in
basketball,
a slump to end the year, remember that?
yes, and if you were, it's just like, and that's where your basketball ended. And when the time summer league came, you're like, oh my god, I cannot wait to watch some basketball. Obviously, the second summer league starts, you're like, oh, this barely counts as basketball, and you're horribly disappointed, but you're so starved. But this is like, bro, you can't be serious. Summer league is happening already.
Buckle up, Eric.
Oh god,
We're rooming together. That's not true.
that's not true. And for HR reasons.
You guys, our whole squad, we got like 10 people going out this year from DNVR, and everyone got boarding group A except for one person.
Yeah.
Any guesses? Any guesses who didn't get boarding group A?
The one that probably was have to be in with the luggage at some point.
Guess what? I'm finding wherever Eric is seated and taking the middle seat right next to him. That's what I'm doing.
Beautiful.
I'm
all I've ever wanted.
Rest my head
All
here on that shoulder.
All ever for an hour long
You only
flight.
have one person to blame for not getting boarding group A.
Who?
Yourself.
No way! I didn't even have my itinerary. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Guys,
That's
we're
a
outta
lie.
Here. We're out of here. We're fun in the lead up to Summer League. I can't believe it's already here. The Denver Nuggets play basketball. The Denver Nuggets play basketball tomorrow. We're going to be there to watch them. Can't wait, baby. See you on the other side.
Let's go to Vegas.